All right, so we're live. This is the first official session of Headspace out of what's going to be free. We already had a session 0 last week where we went through character creation and figured out who everybody was, what their relationships were, and how they ended up in the position that we will find them in tonight. So I'm just going to read a little bit of prepared text and then drop you guys right in the middle of it. All right. So just for a little background to the setting, on June 1st, 2074, the Pacific coast was rocked by a tsunami, which left widespread devastation. Governments failed to respond and delegated the responsibility for relief efforts to a number of corporate entities. 6 months after that, earthquakes and flooding continued to plague the city of Vancouver, and the corporations continue their public show of providing aid while secretly using it as cover for their own nefarious plots and schemes. Dissatisfied with their former employers, a team of ex-corporate operators have banded together to oppose these corporations and their secret agendas. To give them an edge in this fight, these operators have employed an experimental technology to link their minds together, allowing them to share skills, knowledge, thoughts, and other things. This technology is called Headspace. And as the title logo fades and we see a computer-generated map of Vancouver come alive on the cinema screen, different areas of the map are color-coded to represent their current states, from being reclaimed to complete devastation. Text crawls along the screen saying, Vancouver, December 2074. We zoom in on the map to a group of 3 islands off the south side of the city. I will try and ping where that is on the map. You can see that.
Got it. Right down the bottom.
Yep. So the image zooms in on this area to the group of 3 islands and shifts from the computer-generated map to the satellite view of these islands. And you can see from the satellite view that each of the islands has a building on it which resembles vaguely an H from above, and more text appears on the screen identifying this as 3H Energy Arcology Boundary Bay. The camera drops down to a more side-on view of the island, revealing these buildings to be a bit more pyramid-shaped from a lower angle. And we cut to the hill leading up to the main arcology facility, and the larger of the 3 islands, where we see our band of rogue operators climbing the dirt towards the structure above. As they walk, we cut to a foot coming down on some kind of a plate or a switch, and an ominous hum emits from it as the camera pans up to reveal Somerset. Why don't you describe yourself?
So Somerset is a fairly tall woman, sort of indeterminate age and race, given the fact that she has a sort of cyber shell. She's had her, or replaced her skin with a cybernetic replacement, something of her own invention. She's very much of the transhuman movement, so it's not just that. There's a sort of electric blue third eye in the middle of her forehead. She looks very robotic, and she's wearing loose-fitting clothes, scarves and things that move away and sort of show off the various lines and curves of her cyber skin and the electricity running through it. She looks very close to panicking and doing something stupid right now, because she's not proven to be the most calm-headed operator.
And it doesn't help that over the Headspace connection, you're hearing this sort of like vaguely buzzing electronic rendition of a voice of a former teammate, now departed, by the name of Whistler, who's just desperately saying, "Not bombs, not bombs, not bombs, not bombs." So, Watts, why don't you describe yourself?
Watts, probably a couple of steps behind Somerset. Watts is fairly youngish looking gentleman. Probably, he looks to be in his mid-20s. He's got really intense eyes that sort of suggests he's got more experience than that. So potentially some sort of youthening technology. Maybe just looks young. He is wearing overtly expensive clothing, sort of navy blue Armani suit, white shirt, navy blue tie, and a long black coat. His hair is always impeccable, and yeah, he's always very well turned out. The one thing he always avoids, though, is black. He goes for navy blues, maroons, really dark reds, but no blacks for whatever reason. And he'll be a step behind Somerset.
All right, and finally, Nike.
So Nike is the runner. Her body is almost 100% cyber, with sculpted limbs and tight-fitting kind of stretchy fabric that shows off the sculpting. On her head, you can see a cyber visor, like a Cyclops, like the superhero. I mean, not a single eye on top. Her hair is kind of just wiry, coming out in bits and pieces all over her head. So definitely like transhuman in terms of appearance. I like to imagine she is several meters ahead of Somerset, and almost knows he has stepped on the pressure plate before he does.
Yeah, so you're all aware of this as it happens, because even if you hadn't heard the click and the ominous hum from the device, you would have been aware of it just through the connection in the Headspace, that something had happened. What do you do?
Somerset, stop! Don't move.
What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Just stay still. Okay, I'll
stay still. But that's what do I do next?
Let me have a look at it. Let me have a look. I will move in close, drop to knees, and shuffle forward so that I don't actually step on the plate or crawl on the plate myself, but get as close as I can so I can have a proper look at this.
So it sounds like you're using
explosives, I would think.
Yeah, and that is one of your professional skills, if I recall.
It is, yeah.
So you don't need to roll for that, but it will add a tick to the way it works is if you use a professional move, it adds a tick of stress to the relevant baggage, the relevant stress track. In your case, is rage.
Good question. It's rage. Yep.
Yeah. So first time you use that when you're not in sync. Anytime you want to use it when you're not in sync, you have to increase the stress track. what I will note is that you can choose, and you don't need to do this now, but you can choose at any time you want to do one of your professional moves. If you don't want to add stress to the track, you can do it as an improvised move instead.
Okay. May as well stress the track. Let's get this right.
Right. So, rage is now at 2. Describe that for me, like what's going through your head as you're looking, you know.
Okay. I'm looking at this tremor plate. My main concerns are very much not around disarming the tremor plate. I can do that easily. It's about keeping Somerset calm while I do it, because I don't want her shaking. So I'm trying to describe what I'm doing, and I'm trying to make it sound routine, as if I'm in control. Because my biggest worry is that Somerset is going to tremor, panic, move. So it's very much around describing precisely what I'm seeing, very carefully taking the plate apart, describing everything, trying to keep Somerset calm.
Okay. So you're able to identify this this device. It appears to be similar to like the bouncing Betty type of mine. It's a device that once the pressure comes off it, it's going to launch out of a enclosure and let off a burst of destructive force. Some sort of do we have bangers? Yeah, let's say some sort of plasma burst, which is going to cut through all of you.
Okay.
But you know enough about it to be able to disarm it. So why don't you describe to me how you go about doing that?
Okay. Okay, moving in through the side of the device, I'm going to use a precision cutter to just cut a small sort of hole inside, and then use a mirror and tools to slowly remove the detonator, leaving the plasma charge intact. And as I do it, I'll pass the parts out to whoever's directly behind me. And then eventually I'll stand up, brush myself off. Okay, that should be fine now. And carefully dust the dust off my my jacket.
What do you mean fine? Do I need to, do I step now? Do I not? You kept saying don't move. Do I not move?
Just do what you want now. It's safe.
Okay, what I want to do is not blow up. I'm asking you how I achieve that.
You take a step forward. It's safe. I've disarmed it.
Okay, but what about that plate there? I mean, or there's like every one of them's another plate.
Look, if I was worried, I will be stepping back, but I'm right next to you.
Oh no, I understand. This one's fine. I'm just asking about for the future.
Yeah, probably best if you don't stand on anymore.
All right. Just start looking around for like a railing or something to climb on.
Hey, Somerset, just step by step, right? That will be safe.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that's easy. No, that's fine. Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So, what do you do now? The archaeology is above you, up in the top of the hill. You decided to not take like the proper pathway up to the building because that would almost certainly have defenses on it.
if I'm remembering correctly, we had gotten the full schematics of the building
Yes, you did.
downloaded. So I think that's how we have this back route up to the control room, right, where we can turn on the power. So is it we can maybe imagine that or assume rather that this was just let's put a single piece of defense in the back door so we don't have to watch it, but maybe we want to be frosty about any other security arrangements on this route.
So I think the closest thing to a skill for that would be observation, but none of you has that as a skill. So that would have to be an improvised move. Using. So who's going to make that roll?
Am I going? If I'm going first, or yeah.
Okay. So what's you're going to be rolling with fear, because that's the highest current stress track.
But yeah, you're obviously the expert on these sort of traps. You got me out of that one.
Rolling with what? Sorry, with
fear.
Okay, I can give that a go. Does it matter that the fear stress track is already at maximum?
That's why you're rolling with fear. It's when you're doing an improvised move, you roll with the discipline of the highest current stress track. So
cool. Okay. I managed to close to D20. That wasn't very clever. Just bear with me while I reopen it. Okay. An 8.
Okay. So you can see now that this approach, while your schematic isn't wrong, that it is a back passage up towards the control room. It seems somebody has dotted more of these traps along this passageway as they were leaving to make it harder for people to traverse. So it's going to be challenging to cross without stepping on one.
Is this a route that we all need to get up simultaneously, or could I lead the way and we could do the connection to the power remotely?
You don't need to do it simultaneously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult passage. So someone with your particular skill set would be more capable than others in this circumstance.
Yeah, just thinking if I don't need to go up if I couldn't get away with going up by myself, could I go up and then leave a rope or a line that would help the others to get through without too much trouble? If it is, festooned with booby traps.
Well, I mean, we've got the headspace, so especially if once you make it through, we we really can copy your movements pretty well.
Yeah.
I'll say yes. Okay, so that's what's figured out. There's a point up above where you could feed a rope down in a straight line, and you'd be able to get up that way with the rope. But just getting up without any assistance would be difficult for most of you. So somebody has to get up there first and feed the rope down.
Okay, yeah. So I'll try that maybe. Go up using my parkour, and then just leave a line down for the rest of them to get up without too much trouble.
Okay. Your parkour is based on
Ego.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to add one to the ego stress track.
Yeah. I'm not going to mess around because the ego track is pretty low at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're just you find like the different spots in the rock, and actually I should let you describe, because you're doing your thing where you're awesome. So I'll let you run with that.
So I'm kind of imagining kind of open shaft with stairs going up, kind of industrial stairs going up, and then maybe there's elevators or some kind of maglev transportation thing that's used normally, but that's shut down with the power outage.
Yeah.
And so really, for all intents and purposes, there's no way for a mere mortal to get up without using the stairs. But I am kind of walking up the banisters, alongside a 100-meter drop as I go up. And then every so often I've got to leap across to the central column where the elevator is, and kind of, swing around to get past this eminently trappable kind of pillar top, which happens every landing. But then as soon as I get up to the top level, I can just put a line straight down. And then hopefully the guys can climb up relatively easily.
Okay. So you feed the rope down, and everybody else is able to get up to the top. There's still the facility is in a state of shutdown, so there's no power to the doors. There's which would normally be electronically secured. I think if you're coming in if you're going in from the side and into the power area, then it's more of a steel door sort of. Let's say sliding doors. There's lots of sliding doors in the future. So.
Okay, if there's no power to them, do you think we can brute force them, all of us pushing together, or are these clearly too big for that?
Sorry?
Do these doors look like we could brute force them, sort of all push together and move them, or do they look like we have to rely on other tactics?
You could maybe brute force them. It's like a elevator sort of door, so but more reinforced. So you can push through with enough strength.
Can I shoot at an idea here. I'm wondering if Keaton has some kind of contingency for this. I'm thinking it's possible that, say, for emergency situations, the fire service have these kind of mag unlocks that for getting into buildings where the power is down or whatever, that just unlocks any kind of thing where the power isn't on.
Nice.
Does that sound plausible?
Sure. Why don't you roll with ego to see if that's
okay?
If Keaton planned for that.
Okay, my ego is 1, so let me roll for that. Ooh, I got a 10.
Nice roll.
Okay, so on a 10, I think just do it.
You didn't include your ego in that, so you actually got an 11.
Yeah,
11. 10. Yeah. So you do it without any complications. So you hear Keaton over the Headspace connection, like say, did you remember to pack the things I told you to bring?
So I wave the kind of unlock card. It's probably the size of a credit card or something, but maybe half an inch thick. You go, yep, got it here, boss. And then just kind of put it against the control panel.
Yeah, good lad. And you put the thing against the control panel, and it just sort of there's a clunk, and the door slides open.
Okay, peer through the door. What's the other side of it?
The other side of it, it appears actually from the inside there appear to be some emergency systems running. There's some red lights going, just emergency lighting, which comes on once you open the door, as if like in response to the door opening. It's prepared for people to come in and use the facility. In terms of what you see, it's a corridor with the red lights and different doorways. There's probably it's an arcology, so it's not just the power supply station. It's also like where the power station is part of it, but it's also like where the energy experiments are maybe done. Where the people who are doing those experiments live, facilities for those people to use while they're there. So it's like an entry hall with different signs pointing to different areas where you need to go, and one of them says power supply.
I think we should head that way.
Well, no reason to doubt it. Yep.
Okay. So as you're heading along the corridor towards the power supply area, you will see on the floor area there are other devices that have been left on the floor, but these are larger than the mines that you found before. They're sort of dome-shaped sort of dome-shaped devices that are, you know, about that size.
Those look explosive. Dangerous at the very least.
Yeah, but kind of obvious. Nobody's going to accidentally step on one of those things. They're really obvious.
Yeah, unless they're like proximity and not pressure. Unless they've got, or maybe they got legs tucked in underneath those domes, you know.
Okay, I guess it's worth taking one of these apart so we know what we're dealing with.
Okay, so you go over. When you step near the frontmost of the devices, funny thing, legs, you know, they raise up on a pair of legs and start hovering and unfurl sort of turrets from both sides. And sort of red, you know, like Kit, Knight Rider. No, more like Cylon actually.
Cylon, not Kit.
Red light. Yeah, and it addresses you with a state. Show authorization tag, please.
This would be a useful time to have an authorization tag.
Do these look like Trauma 1 or 3H?
These are 3H.
Okay. So I might have an authorization tag that they might still be recognizing. You never know. Depends how up to date their data is. Yeah. Will I try it?
Ooh,
Give it a go.
I don't know what that would come under. As far as, because it should be a row, I think, but I can't imagine what that would be. Maybe contingency again.
Yeah, I guess that makes the most sense. I don't know.
Or security, maybe?
Security, maybe. Yeah, that works.
That's
shade, based off
so that's grief.
Yeah, it's grief.
I'm really good at that. I've got -2 on that. But let's see how it goes. No. That's a miss.
Well, you still succeed.
Yeah. So you succeed, but you pick 2 emotional complications based on the baggage for the skill, in this case, grief.
Yep. Let me... Two of them, right? So
and you pick the complications and you tell me how they manifest, and then I'll tell you how the situation develops from there.
Okay. So I think I'm retreating from conflict. I don't know, maybe from my time in 3H, I really don't like these things. These things give me the heebie-jeebies. And even though I'm kind of confident in my badge, I am stepping back and away from where we're going. I'm trying to get away from these things.
Okay, that's one.
And can I also put myself in harm's way? So maybe after I kind of get away from their line of sight, I'm not paying attention, and there's another kind of corporate danger nearby that I step into away from the others. So they're kind of going on mission, and I've split the party a little bit.
So everybody else has, or everybody else has your tag, or and they're going forward, but you're hanging back. Is that what I'm getting here?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So you have you give your tag to one of the other guys, and they can use it and authorize one visitor using the tag. So yeah. So Watts and Somerset, you guys are able to bypass these drones. As you pass by them, more of the drones pop up, but you see Nike hanging back, and as he does so, what's a good thing? Well, not a good thing, but I think that there's you're nervous around these things, and you sort of step back and you're not looking, and you bump into like a force screen that's around one of the let's say it's the security office enclosure. There's a force screen, and you just sort of bash it a bit, and you get a shock from it, and you take one harm.
Okay.
Which the way harm works is that you add it to stress. Is that how it works? Yeah. That my cheat sheet doesn't tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've got this crash suit on, which gives me armor 2, but will we say that is kind of electrical feedback damage that just gets through that physical armor?
So I'm looking at this now. Yeah, so it would be armor piercing, I think. So one harm, armor piercing, still. Yeah, okay. So it would still be absorbed, actually, but let's just say you take a minimum of one harm from it.
Sure.
And I'm not seeing anything about the harm. But,
yeah, I know it goes to the stress track somehow. I just don't know how you choose which one.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
See if I can find it.
Harm, right. So if assigned harm, the first point of stress from an attack is assigned to an emotion. Any additional stress taken in the same attack is assigned by the player whose operator took harm. So I'd assign the first the first point of stress, and then if there was any left after that, you'd take another point. I mean, I feel like the most appropriate thing would be fear, but I don't want to give you feedback right away, so... Let's
Tell you
call
what,
it... Let's call it...
I've got this ability which allows me to reduce the fear track, 1,000-yard stare, and I can't think of any reason why I didn't use it straight at the beginning of the session. So
Yeah.
I may as well use once per session to lower fear by 2.
Okay, so it goes down to 2, and
then you'll add straight back to it.
As another 1, so it's at 3 now.
Nice.
So you guys feel that like sort of burst of fear from Nike as she knocks this this force barrier and takes a shock. But Watts, you're able to clamp down and just alleviate the tension that's building in the connection there.
Nike's in trouble back there.
I think with that sort of like calming that comes from that, Somerset gets herself a bit under control and says, okay, you look after Nike. There's a panel over here. I'll see if I can get started up and start hacking into the system and find out more of what's going on in this fucked up place.
Okay. I'll start heading back towards Nike then. Pistol drawn.
Okay. So Nike, it is like you would be able to tell over the Headspace connection what's happening to Nike. You can tell she's not in any immediate danger, but she has a hesitancy about these drones that's stopping her from progressing. And the pain that she just experienced was just from like lack of attention, bumping into something that was not previously active.
Okay, so if we can find another entrance which didn't involve passing the drones, that might be okay.
I mean, you have the schematics.
That's true. Let's have a look at the schematics.
Like I said, I'm gonna head over to a like terminal or computer console or something and try and get it booted up and see if I can work my way into the system. Maybe find out where more of those drones are, or just find a control for them. So if we can find the control signal for them, we do have drones from what's his name.
Yeah, you have. I don't know why the white coat also has the same skills list as the tech.
Oh, that's odd. Yeah, that's what I was making decisions off of.
Yeah.
Those are not my skills. Investigation, medicine, psychology.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, just you replace those. But yeah, you do have drones from Whistler.
Hang on, the tech shouldn't have sprawl.
No, don't know.
Tech should have engineering, drones, hacking.
Yeah.
That last one should be hacking.
Sure, what happened there? Yeah, so you have the drones skill from Whistler, but you don't have hacking. So that would be improvised if you were to do that.
I'm sure it'll go great.
Mm-hmm. The highest stress track is still fear, so you'd be rolling off of fear.
All right. That's a 4.
Could be worse.
I don't know. I think you could actually fail improvised skills.
Yeah. The if you fail an improvised skill, I tell you what happens. So here's what happens. One of these force fields comes up around the passageway that you just came through, blocking you off from Nike and Watts, who are now both on the other side. And all of these, I think, let's say there's just 2 drones, actually. Let's just say 2 drones in the corridor. Both of them sort of spin around on their, in the air and focus on you. Unauthorized access detected. Please desist.
No, it's fine. I have the badge. See. I just need to. That was the wrong button. My finger slipped, and I just hit the wrong thing.
You have 5 seconds to comply.
I'm desisting. I'm desisting. Look at me. I'm not desisting anything.
You must be restrained and taken to security. One of them starts drifting towards you with a sort of shock device sparking on the front of it.
I'm sort of backing away from it to draw it off from the other one, and as it gets close, I'd like to make a last-ditch effort to try and get in close to it and try and use drones up close to do some sort of restarter or take over command control on it.
Okay. Sounds like 2 actions. So you're trying to, I think is what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, I was hoping up close the drone skill would be. I don't know.
I mean, you're trying to draw it away, so but then it's a drone, so it's not going to really. Yeah. Okay. So you move back and just draw it away. And the thing is, they do have ranged weapons on them.
All right.
So as soon as you start trying to evade them, you see the guns spinning up.
Oh shit!
Okay, I'm going to try and draw them away from him. Are there any chutes or lower levels or anything I can see sort of beneath us?
Chutes? What, beneath you? What do you mean exactly?
Well, I presume that we've climbed to a higher level, so presumably there must be a lower level or something beneath us. So I'm looking for anything I could potentially throw a frag grenade off that might. I'm kind of hoping the noise might draw the drones. And I'm hoping the frag grenade won't do too much damage.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
so
except at the moment, the drones are trapped in here with me.
That is true. You never know. They may be able to lower the force field.
So yeah, you guys were on the in the lobby area, I believe. So
probably not.
Yeah, you'd fallen back to the lobby area where Nike was, and there was a security office area and just in a room with a window, a security window that's partitioned from the rest of the lobby.
Do you think if we gain entrance to the security office, we could turn off the drones from there?
Sounds plausible.
Yeah, but also there's still like the force
field,
shield,
yeah.
the force shield around that you bounced off of.
Unless there's a back way in, or some kind of improbably small air ducts or ventilation ducts that I could climb through to drop into the security office from a different angle.
Yeah, of course there are. And you have the schematics, so you know exactly where they are.
Yeah. So yeah, I might. That at least in my head gets me out of the whole drones in my head funk I'm in, so I can do something else to help the situation without going at them.
Yeah. So I don't know if you really need a roll to climb through to clamber through ducts. But but in the meantime, while you're negotiating the ventilation ducts to get into the security room, Somerset is still having to deal with the drone that is spinning up its weapons and ordering them to cease movement. This is your final warning.
Nope, it's fine. I'm just over here now. You can just come over and put cuffs on me or something. Just right over here. Just get a little bit closer.
It keeps coming towards you with the.
If I don't need to make a roll to get through the ducts, maybe I can make a roll to get through the ducts in time, right?
Yeah, sounds fair, sure. But you, I suppose that would come under parkour, which is one of your professional moves. So you just need to add stress to the track.
Yeah. So I think I'll just add stress to the ego track for that.
Okay.
So I think what I'm doing to get through these ducts impossibly quickly is I've done something with the joints of my cyber limbs, maybe to pop them out of the joints, and I still retain full power on my fingers, and I'm just kind of crawling through impossibly tight spaces, and then like going through the right angles in a pretty inhuman fashion.
Gross. Okay, so you bishop your way into the room. The grate on the ventilation duct in this room clatters to the ground as you leap down and find a console that's not full. It's not fully powered up, but it isn't like a standby mode.
So is there a big red button that says disable drones?
Okay, I'm going to take a bead on one of the drones with my rifle, just in case he manages to drop the force fields.
So, Somerset, this drone is almost on you with its stun weapon, which it's gonna zap you with unless you do something.
So as it gets within reach, I'm gonna like duck and roll underneath it and try and come up behind and hit that magical sequence that'll do something to make it stop. Whatever Whistler whispers into my head.
Okay.
So do I need to do, I don't know, something like a martial arts to avoid it and then a drones, or what would this be?
I think martial arts to avoid it would definitely be necessary.
Okay.
And that's a headspace move for you.
All right, and that's ego, yeah. Which I'm not bad at. Well, I'm sort of bad at it. That's a 5.
Well, you do it, but you need to pick 2 complications that arise.
What are the ego?
And that was ego, so you pick from the ego list for complications.
Ego. Rage. Grief.
You know, I think instead, I'm going to go. Yeah, they're sort of difficult at the moment. I think instead I'm going to go for the reveal.
Okay.
Because God knows we could use any sort of edge at the moment.
So when you do that, you narrate a flashback scene that shows the other players your regret. So why don't you run us through that?
So yeah, I think there's just this burst through the headspace, and you see Somerset. She's at her first day, sort of in her new promotion. You can feel in the back of her head that this is like just a couple of days after Dr. Ryan's funeral. He's out of the way. She's been promoted instead. And she's like sitting down all proud at her new desk. Like this is finally, she's made it to the upper levels in Escalapian, and she's going to start doing some real work. And then it's just this like barrage of scenes, one after another, of her like being given these top secret reports, of looking through and finding out things about this cure that she's been working on for months that does nothing, the experiments that they're doing on the people in the quarantine zones, and there's just this moment where she, you can feel, because you're inside her mind, that she knows that like this is all of the evidence, this is the opportunity, this is something she could change, she could speak out and try and stop this. And instead, like, you just feel fear wash over her, and she runs. She doesn't do anything about it, she doesn't say anything about it. And that's sort of it. It's this idea that she had that, for a brief moment, she had the evidence at her fingertips, if she'd been more with it, to stop these horrors, and instead she just was selfish, was weak, and ran.
Okay.
And she her drive and her regret there ties into there's that particular lab that she was promoted into. And she's constantly thinking down the roster of all the experiments, all the people that were there as new drug trials and stuff, and just this need to go back and help those people.
Okay. So you all experienced that flashback, and so in Somerset, you can now describe how you successfully dodge and get around this drone. And the headspace is now in sync.
So yeah, it's coming at me. I know what I need to do, but I'm shaking and fearful, and I almost freeze up again at the wrong moment. But that list of names, those people that were being experimented, run through my head again, and immediately after, it's the flashes of all all the faces of the squatters in this arcology, because we did a little work with the reporter beforehand. We met a few of them. We started getting them together, and the two just sort of become one. Like, no, I'm not going to fail these people again. And it's the whole like stance and demeanor of Shade comes over her. She looks much more confident and taller for a moment before she just like blindingly flash in a whirl of these scarves ducks under and behind it, and goes for the control panel on the back of it.
Okay. And then meanwhile, okay, you can roll for the drones. But meanwhile, back in the security office.
Yeah, so I think I'm just looking for a power down. Nothing as subtle or on point as shutting down these drones. I'm just going to look to shut down the whole security system.
Okay. Give me a security roll.
Okay, so that's
Grief.
Improvised, is it? Or
No, that's a grief roll.
Okay. So I'm still useless at that. That's a 0 altogether. That's okay. So what's that? Two more grief downsides. I think I have to choose the other two now, given that I just chose 2 from this list. The first one is I hurt someone I care for, but I'm not sure if that's makes a lot of sense. You neglect your responsibilities. I'm not sure if that makes sense either. Any ideas, guys? Or
Potentially, you could have injured one of us in the process of turning the security off. You hit the red button, you didn't realize the impact of it.
So like I short out the force field that you're standing right next to, and it instead of just shutting down neatly, it just flares up.
Yeah, that works great. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe as soon as that happens, instead of carefully powering then the rest of it, I just like smash it with my elbow. I'm going to hurt myself in order to get it all offline straight away.
Okay. So, I'm just looking up the. Okay, so a shock fist is 4 stun damage. So I'm going to say that the combined damage for both yourself as you're smashing this panel in frustration, and for Watts as the instead of powering down just gradually and just sort of winking off, the force field actually just sort of bursts and ricochets off you.
Okay.
So there's a total of 4 damage going into the headspace. I'm going to put 1 point of it into rage because that seems like it might be annoying to some people.
Um,
And I get to assign the other 3. Is that correct? 5, 2.
Because it's a damage that's being dealt between you and Nike, I'll say you each get to distribute 1, and then you can decide between you the other.
I would, just because I know what I'm doing next, I'd suggest putting 1 in fear.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 in fear and 1 in rage and 1 somewhere else.
Does grief or need make sense if we just had this this sync moment from Somerset? Like we've just felt her need or her grief at her regret.
Yeah, need makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fear, need, and rage again.
Yep.
All right. So both rage and fear are now at 4. But the power, the force field does power down with this burst discharge of energy, which catches you for a moment, Watts, but you're able to shake it off as actually I'll let you make your action because you haven't had anything to do for a bit, and then we'll go back to Somerset for dealing with the drone, the other drone.
Okay, I was taking a careful bead on the drone, ready to fire. This force field discharges. It shocks me. I probably fumble the rifle, reach down, pick it up. I'm breathing pretty heavily by this point. I dust myself off and then start heading towards Somerset to help her, but that probably distracted me long enough that I'm not going to get there in time.
Yeah, so what's happening is like Somerset is being menaced by one of the drones, and there's another drone which is focused on them. But as you come into like its proximity detector, it sort of swivels round to draw a bead on you as well.
Let's find out if they're bulletproof.
So firearms for you is a professional skill.
It is.
So you have a choice. You can either add 1 point to the grief track because that's what it's based off of, or you can roll it as an improvised skill and see what happens.
And that would be improvised skill on grief.
Actually, I don't think it's an improvised. I need to double check, but.
No, it's a. I think it's a headspace, just like one of us using it.
You can roll it as a headspace move instead of just.
So either I roll it with the highest.
No, it'd be headspace. So it'd be
so for headspace, it would be based on the baggage of the
grief.
skill. So,
no, I will add a point to grief in that case.
Okay.
Because otherwise I'm rolling at -2.
All right, so grief goes up to 3. So describe how you take down this drone.
Okay. I whistle, watch for the drone to spin round so that it's facing me. And the moment it is facing me, I put a single shot through the sensor and then dash forward to try and catch it before it hits the ground on the off chance that it explodes.
My vision is impaired.
And yeah, as I feel him get hurt and come through and take out that one, I know I don't have any time for any more mistakes. So I release a bunch of mood stabilizers into my system and use my upgrade, my medical suite, to drop the fear stress track to 0. And then if the stress track of the skills baggage type is 0, you can make a professional move instead of headspace. So I'm going to do hacking as a professional move.
Okay.
And just add 1 fear back in. Or not hacking, drones. Sorry. As I open up the control panel on this drone and turn it over to our side, put it under some sort of command control, hopefully.
Okay, so so what's you fire your weapon and take out the one drone sensor, and it's sort of like spinning wildly in place. Not quite sure what to do now. While at the same time, Somerset has taken over the other drone, and are you giving it any instructions, or are you just in a waiting state?
No, I'll go ahead and order it to decommission the malfunctioning drone. It's a danger to everyone. We can't have it messing up the work environment.
Okay, he goes affirmative, and sort of spins round and fires at the other drone, which the top and bottom half just sort of
Nice.
In cheesy 80s style explosion effects.
And I think Watts, you turn to see Somerset, and she's like panting, but where you would expect to see her freaked out, she's actually like calm and smiling in the middle of her exertion, like, oh, this is sort of fun for a minute.
Okay.
So thanks for the assist. That was good timing.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So you were sort of so just to remind me, Nike, you decommissioned the entire security system?
Yeah, everything 3H obviously. So the force field locking me in here, the one separating the Somerset and Watts, and any other drones or force fields on our way to the. I don't know how far, how much of the building this security office controls, but whatever is under its control, I suppose.
All right. So, what time are we at? Right. Okay. So I'm gonna say that the systems were on a separate power array. Like they've got their own system. So all of the active defenses and such are out of commission, but you do still see like the surveillance footage of the entry passage that you circumvented earlier, and you can see some Trauma 1 personnel gathering down there.
Do they look like they're waiting for us, or kind of getting ready? They're stacking up to come in and breach to come find us.
Sorry, what was the first part? I missed the.
Do they look like they're kind of setting up to wait for us to exit, or do they look like they're stacking up to assault?
It looks like they're just setting up to prevent people from getting in. Not necessarily getting people getting out, but it's gonna pose a problem for people getting out, which they're not expecting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let I'll highlight this to Watts certainly. just in case, if there's anyone going to be fighting out, he's going to be at the business end.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that's a problem. We're going to find a different
I think
way
they've
out.
made a serious mistake setting up there. My tactics would tell me that it leaves them in a serious disadvantage because I don't know. What does my tactics tell me about the way they've set up?
So the way they set up, you're doing that as a professional move. So just what's it? Off of ego. Okay, so I mark 1 on ego. You're at ego of 4 now. So what it tells you is basically what I just said, is that they seem to be set up for preventing people from entering. They don't seem to be expecting anybody to be there already.
So if we go for a sort of shock and awe approach, they're not going to be prepared for us. We'll gain advantage at the beginning.
Yeah,
from the inside.
Yeah, it's like they're expecting a frontal assault. They're not expecting anybody from the back.
Okay.
And so do we have to go through them to get to where we're going, or is it just on the way out after having done our job?
They'll be barring your way out once you've achieved your objective.
Okay.
It could be worth dealing with them now. If they realise we're in here, they're going to take us by surprise.
Well, there's 3 of us, and they'll be the 3 of us, and we're going fast, right? So they'll be checking corners and much slower. So, I mean, I take your point. You're the you're the Ronin here, right? So it's your call, but I think we're better off just going through fast, completing our mission, and getting out either through them or a different way.
Can we use the drones against them?
You have 1 drone left.
The drone against them.
You're muted, Patrick.
Sorry, I was just saying. Yeah, it would probably help us. Not going to stand up to all of them, but it had scary-looking guns.
It's like a minigun, whatever you would call that. Like just a wee
minigun, titchy gun.
Sure, that works. So yeah, that's a problem for when you get out. But right now, your problem is just your path is clear to the power station. It's the problem now is opening up a power line to the people on the archaeology island.
Okay, we knew we were coming to do this, so even though we haven't got any technical skills between us, because we don't actually have either engineering or hacking, I'm sure we've planned for this with contingency. So I'm sure we've got written directions which we can follow. Press A, press B type thing. It doesn't take a lot of contingency planning to see this one coming.
Yeah. So I don't think I need to make your roll for that, actually. So yeah, you have instructions for how to power up to activate the power plant and set it up to divert power to the area where the refugees are holed up. I think the problem more is doing it in such a way that it won't be detected by anybody else who might want to control that energy flow.
You mean that the fact the turbines are spinning might give it away?
Yeah.
All the lights suddenly
Like
coming on.
Yeah, there's power.
Yeah.
Like there's power to there's power to this facility now.
Oh, okay.
But
Right.
the problem is that the refugees are in a different area, which isn't. It's on a different. It's on a different grid. You need to divert the power from this grid to the other one.
And we probably didn't think of telling them to turn their lights off. So the minute the power comes on, half the city's going to light up. Okay.
But on the other hand, like if Trauma One, act really publicly to in that way, they probably don't like the PR. They want to seem like they're doing the right thing. Whereas if they take an action to remove the power from everyone, they're going to be doing a lot of spin.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
We've got that reporter already embedded with the refugees, so once the power comes on, he can try and start spinning it as like, this miracle has happened, and if anything happens to the power, well, it's all Trauma One's fault.
Sure. So, okay, I won't make you roll for that then. So you've got the power running, and you've got the line set up to the refugee camp. Now, what do you do?
Is it worth? I wonder if Watts would be in a position to. I'm sure the corporation might try to interfere with it. Maybe do something brownouty to say, "Oh, it came up, but it went back down normally." So, do we want to prevent any technicians from coming up here and doing some serious work?
There's only so long I can stay watching the thing.
No, I'm thinking of a claymore or two.
Yeah, some way to like permanently seal off this building, or put up a code wall that only we know the way through, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we
We're
were
not good at
talking about the
computers,
board
so.
of one of the corps, somebody who actually was in on this, then yeah, I'm happy blowing their legs off. But some poor technician's just doing his job.
Yeah, I get you.
Less so.
Then I guess
anyway, we could how about bringing the ceiling down around the controls so we can actually get to them? That might work.
Yeah.
Maybe there's walkways that the guys need to cross to get to the control panel, and you could bring those down without causing any serious structural damage.
Is there anything like that?
There is, but and we certainly slow them down. But you guys were able to find a way up past obstructions. Use with your skills. There's no reason they wouldn't be able to, with some time and effort, circumvent those barriers that you put out as well. It'll slow them down, but it won't stop them forever.
So maybe then it's a question of stopping them long enough that they can't just say, "Oh, it came up, but it wasn't ready." To make sure that the spin has to be hard.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure without hacking, we can kind of prevent them from shutting it down. So I guess it depends how far we want to push on an improvised skill.
I mean, if you wanted to, well, I don't want to suggest how to use your abilities to do something. I want you guys to figure something out. But if you wanted to create an obstruction, there are ways that you could do that with the abilities that you've got.
Well, I don't know if we necessarily need to do hacking because you've already made it through the security firewall or whatever, and I've got this drone here, and we have security. Maybe we could just up the security systems of this place that other people couldn't get through.
Can you use your drone to take a load of footage of this thing working?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can you use your drone to take a load of footage of this thing working to show that it's in perfect working order? In case we need evidence.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Send it off for some nice footage of the whole power plant humming up to life and everything running smoothly.
We can send it to Shade.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's a first step.
Yeah. I like that. We can like live stream this power coming back to life.
Okay. I like that. I don't think you necessarily need to make a roll for that either. What we'll say is that once the power is on and you start live casting, when you start live casting, the power going on and power comes on, those Trauma 1 guys outside who weren't expecting anyone to be in here now know that there definitely is somebody in here, and they're going to be scrambling to do something.
That's fine. We can go, keep going up, go to the roof. I'm going to call a ride.
Hang on, we need to
retration the old-fashioned way.
Oh, okay.
So I have a Headspace vehicle link with my spinner Aerodyne attached. So I'm gonna, Uber it in, so to speak, to pick us up on the rooftop. That way they can scramble all they like, but they're not going to outrace us.
Okay.
Just an idea. Can we make them believe we've evac and stay and get some footage of them turning it off? Evidence that Trauma 1 are actually going to turn this thing off.
Well, we could have our cake and eat it, right? We could set up the drone, and we have control of it. We could just have it from a perch, hidden from their view, just film what they do to the machine as we do leave.
They can probably figure out where it is by watching the live stream.
But after the live stream, we put it to just record and then send. After the power gets shut down.
Cool. Okay, that works.
Also, I am super into you calling your vehicle because I want to see what happens when an emotion track explodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I'm piloting on Rage, so yes, that's at 4 now. Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, you don't need to.
I could roll it. Yeah.
You could roll for it.
Yeah.
Also, actually, since you now have sync, I believe it doesn't apply. You don't have to. Yeah, when you're in sync, using your professional skill, say what you want to do, and you succeed. And it's only the first time you use the skill while the cell is in sync that you must increase this stress track by 1.
Okay.
Which is just enough.
Yeah, that's. I'm assuming the word from the wording of that, it sounds like you still have to do it once after you're in sync. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to take my chances with the roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, I've been rolling grief -2. My grief is -1. It's my rage that's -2.
Yeah, see, the danger there is if you do it off that roll, like we'd get extra complications on top of whatever comes out of it overflowing.
Yeah, but the rage complications, we haven't gone near. I'm sure they're going to be interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're interesting.
So just yeah, go ahead and roll for piloting.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a miss. So I guess I'll pick 2 complications, right? And
yeah. So your rage complication options. Mm-hmm.
Or if you really wanted to, you could take us out of the sink and bump that to a 10.
Can I burn sync like that?
You can spend sync. You can burn sync to turn a 6- into a 10.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. And I think what's jarring maybe for the Headspace group is that, you know, it's like there's a new member of the team when the Aerodyne comes into range, and like I push the team out of my head for those few minutes when I'm, you know, taking kind of direct control of it, and that is jarring to the sync of the team. Like we're our own. I mean, not like out of the Headspace entirely, but kind of an intrusion from the Aerodyne that doesn't feel quite natural.
I get that we're not as good at syncing up with machines as you are.
Yeah, it's like you're adding like for briefly adding an alien mechanical mind to the Headspace, and not everybody's used to it.
That's weird and cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and I will say also something you're able to catch in time as you okay, so you all scramble up to the roof, and the Aerodyne, I'm assuming it's like a sort of craft that has rotors, you know, like one of these big
nice.
You know, it's got a big wing you know, in place of wings, it has like big rotors on the side. And
yeah, they're I think they're like housed, so they're almost like jet engines that kind of rotate as we go from vertical to straight ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and the back ramp lowers to let you guys get on. And the thing that you notice through your connection to the Aerodyne as you're taking off and everybody's on board is that one of the people below, the Trauma 1 people, has a stinger, sort of, and they're like they're trying to shoot you down out of the sky as you're taking off.
I'm
I want you to describe.
Can I think it's a speed thing here. Rifle plus scope versus stinger.
I'm turning the Aerodyne and kind of tilting it slightly, and you're just kind of having your boots slotted into a groove on the ramp as you just aim down at an improbably dangerous kind of. I just have to hold it steady, right, while you take the shot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna because you got the 10, you know, you got the 10 plus. You evade the initial blast, but the guy's still down there, and he's going to be a problem if you don't take him out. So yeah, what's
Okay, so it's one of my professional skills. But do we have points on grief?
you have
Right,
3 points
3.
right now.
And it goes to 4 if I take the shot.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take the shot.
All right, and I think it's just like, are you taking a sniper shot? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think like we're seeing you train the sniper rifle on this guy, and then he's training the stinger on the aerodyne as it's above, and you just your sights sort of meet for a moment, and then you fire your shot, and we see in slow motion for a moment your bullet as it goes down towards this guy, and then we just see the scope on the side of the stinger, the stinger weapon shatter, and a spurt of blood from behind, and as he crumples to the ground.
Nice.
And you fly away from the scene. And unless you guys have anything particular you want to do as an epilogue to that, I think we can leave it there.
I think the Ronin needs to make some kind of Arnie-esque.
It's not me.
No, okay.
No, he's far too deadpan and serious for that.
Okay.
He had something in his eye.
Yes.
Yeah, but so yeah, that's where we'll leave it for this session.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
So I have like clocks that I have to manage for the corporation projects, and I believe so. Your objective here was to open up facilities for power, facilities and power for the squatters to live there. I think. I think I'll call it a success for you guys, but qualified. The corporation are aware that the so you've restored power for the squatters, but the corporation are aware that the squatters have somehow access to this power, and they're going to pay more attention to them.
Seems fair.
Like before, they were just like, they were squatters, but they weren't a big problem. Now they've got like you guys on their side, apparently, killing people and breaking into facilities and pirating power for them. So that's a concern. So we'll call that a qualified success, which is still a success. Cool. So yay!
Go us.
Cool.
We won on a technicality.
All right. So any thoughts, questions, comments?
I was so excited about that rage overflowing.
Next time, I think we got 3 of our tracks at 4. So next time we'll hit one of them
Next
for
time we'll
sure.
try and get 5. Yeah.
I think they reduce between sessions, but I don't think it's by much. So yeah, you're not in a great position.
It was really interesting to watch those tracks go up and down. There was a lot of fine-tuned play work there.
Yeah.
I guess it's all about us managing. Like, do we get the thing for sure with no complications, drive the track up a little bit, or just take our chances on the rolling with complications? I think it's nicely balanced. We get to decide what kind of way we're going to mess up.
Yeah. I think it's a bit weird in terms of Powered by the Apocalypse games because it's more driven by you guys. Like I still put like obstacles in front of all of you and stuff, but there's less, moves from my end. If you feel like a Headspace move, you guys you pick the complications.
Yeah.
Can I just say our rolls were truly appalling this session?
Yeah, they were.
Just look at them. As a group, we just couldn't roll.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
We started out all right, and then it was just...
Well, the first 2 rolls were okay, and then that was it.
Yeah. I guess it's only on an improvised roll, right, Rob, that you get to do something more like a traditional MC move.
Yeah, like on a like the 7-9 result for improvised is you succeed, but I make a move. And then the fail result is I tell you what happens. So other than that, it's all you guys pick complications, and then I react to those.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's also neat with anything that's not the improvised, how like there's no question it's gonna work. That thing you were doing is gonna happen. Which is a really interesting space to be in.
It's gonna work, but what's it gonna cost you? It's actually very much the same as Blades in the Dark, where your resistance rolls are going to work, but you're not sure what the cost is going to be. Same sort of idea.
Yeah, though with your normal actions, there's a healthy chance that you just don't get what you're looking for. But yeah, it's up to the players to decide how much pain they're willing to take, and then the stress track forces them eventually to just either trauma out or start accepting consequences that they don't really mind. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting. It's a parallel I hadn't really thought of before, but yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna have to go because I've got early start tomorrow. But yeah, there's some stuff I need to sort out between now and next session. But I'll get back to you guys on that.
Cool.
And until then,
next session, I'm meant to be in an all-day meeting in Northampton, so I'll be driving back. I should be here on time, but it'll be close.
Okay. And hopefully we'll have Tyler next session as well. So,
yeah, he should definitely be here next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
That was fun.
Yep.
See you.
Right.
Bye.
Good night.